We've done a lot of videos here about dealing with divorce and about parenting. Today, how do you deal with your parents' divorce? You're cruising along through life and everything's going just like you planned it to, right? I know, that's kind of la la land. But there's one thing that often happens that just kind of throws a wrench into things, and that's when the family disrupts. I've done some other videos here about how to help little kids to deal with divorce, how to talk to them about the divorce of their parents, for example, or if you're a parent, how to talk to your kids about what's going on in that relationship and the breakup and whatever is happening. I thought in this video that we ought to take a look at some of the older kids. If you're a teenager, a young adult, and you're trying to deal with your parents' divorce, what are some things that you can do? So I've thought through 4 things that you should not do. I'm going to give you 4 don'ts, all right? And then hang on, because right after that, I'm going to give you 4 things that you can do, things that you should do that can make this a whole lot better. So let's jump into the don'ts first. Don't number 1. Don't put yourself in the middle or pick sides or form a camp with one parent or the other. You know what? It's not about you. This is something that's going on with your parents. And I have found this, I try to help little kids understand this, that nobody really knows what happened here. So don't put yourself in the middle of it or become a messenger. That's my first caution to you. This might come as a relief to you as well, because it's easy to get sucked in. You just want to be helpful, and so you're showing up, you're being there as a support to your mom or your dad, and they say, well, you go tell your dad, or you make sure mom knows that. No, it's not your role to be that messenger. So it's okay for you to set that limit. Ways to communicate that to your parents can be very respectful. I would suggest that you simply, if you're being put in the middle like that, if you're getting sucked in, that you simply identify, verify, and accept. Identify, verify, and accept. This comes from a communication expert colleague of mine named Pamela Jett, who taught this to me in a podcast episode titled How to Handle a Sniper. But it applies here too, where if someone's putting you into that difficult position, you can simply identify. You can say, hey, Dad, when you ask me to take messages to Mom, I feel that I'm betraying someone. Is that what you were going for? Now, that's the first 2 steps, okay? Identify means that you say, hey, when this happens, I feel this. Verify is that what you were going for? And then you accept, because whatever Dad says at this point, you're going to simply say, okay. And he might say, oh, no, I didn't mean to put you in the middle. I don't want you to feel like you're betraying anyone. Okay, see, that's powerful. You've just set a boundary that's going to help you to make sure that you don't put yourself in the middle or become a messenger. Here's don't number 2. Don't try to figure out what caused this or whose fault it is. Trust me, I'm coming from years of experience working with good people who, for whatever reason, find themselves in this position where the marriage is falling apart or they choose to divorce. Nobody really knows. And I've tried to help little kids understand this too, because they're thinking, oh, it's my fault. No, it's not your fault. And nobody really knows. When I was doing child custody evaluations, Mom would come in and she would tell me this story, right, about what happened. She's got an opinion. Of course she does. And she knows that she's right about it. Just notice that. She would tell me the whole story, right? And I'm taking notes and I'm like, oh, okay. Dad comes in, usually the next day or a few days later or something. He tells me his story. Guess what? Totally different story. Oh, there's some of the same characters, some of the same events, but a totally different story. He's got a different take on it, doesn't he? My job with the court was to make recommendations about what's going to happen with the kids. Even as a trained professional, it's not my job to decide what really happened or who's right and who's wrong. I want to take you out of that position. Okay? As one of the kids in this family, it's not your job to figure out which of your parents is right and which one's wrong. And that'll help you with number 1 too, because you don't want to align with someone or form a camp. You want to love both of your parents and stay in a position where you don't have to be the go-between. So don't try to figure out what actually happened or who's right and who's wrong. It's going to be a little hard to let go of, but trust me on that. That's going to help. Third, don't take the blame or assume that you could have done anything to change this outcome. It's not about you. It's normal, okay? Totally normal to think, oh my gosh, if I would have just been a better son, a better daughter, then this thing wouldn't have happened. I could have been more supportive. I should have seen this coming. I could have made an intervention. I could have rallied some resources or support. No, it's not about you. This is a very complicated issue that your parents have grappled with probably for years, maybe even before you even showed up on the scene. I don't know. They've all got their own story, but here's what I've learned from all my experience. It's never the child's fault. There's nothing that the child can do differently to change the outcome. It's not about that. So don't assume that you had some cause in this or that you could have changed the outcome. Hopefully you find that as a relief, okay? And just trust my experience on that. Here's the fourth don't. Don't let this pull you into negativity. This might seem obvious, and you know that I'm the positivity guy. Right. There's ways that you can stay positive no matter what. That's other videos. Don't let this suck you into a negative spiral. The fact that your parents are divorcing or have divorced does not mean that your life has to be awful or terrible or tainted. In fact, you know what? There's upsides and downsides to everything. Okay? Just connect with that for a moment. There are upsides and downsides to everything. Now, you might be thinking, well, what could be the possible upside to my parents' divorce? Well, that's a pretty darn good question. Let's go there for a minute. What could be the possible upsides to your parents' divorce? It's a darn good question. Just make sure it doesn't turn into a statement disguised as a question where you're like, oh, what could be good about this? That's not a question. No, ask it as a question. What could be good about all of this? And if you ask your mind to go there, you're probably going to find some things. Trust that your parents love you. Trust that they are doing the best they know how to do with what they have. Trust that this decision for them, in their mind, whether you agree with them or not, in their mind makes things better, not worse. Can you invite your mind to go there? Now, this might be a mental exercise. It might be kind of like calisthenics for your brain, but just invite yourself to go there and to ask that question. What could be good about this? What could be the upsides? And I've talked to a lot of people about this. Sometimes it reduces the conflict in the greater family organization. Oh, well, that could be an upside, couldn't it? Maybe there's less fighting and bickering. Maybe there's more opportunities for somebody to do something. I don't know. Whatever it is, you find it. Ask the question and look for it. Don't slip into negativity. Now, I promised you that I'd give you 4 do's as well. So let's go there next. Do remember that your primary job, the main thing that you need to do right now in your family, is to love your parents, no matter what, and even if. Remember that that is your job. Now that's going to come as a relief to some of you, okay? Because you thought that your job was to fix this, or you thought that your job was to make sure that they whatever. No, your job as a child in this family, whether you're a teenager, a young adult, whatever age you are, your job is simply to love them. Love them. Can you do that? That feels like such a relief, doesn't it, when we realize, okay, that's my primary job. I can do that. The second, do. Focus on what's right, not who's right. Focus on what's right, not who's right. So I don't want you to get stuck in that big conflict about who's right. You know what? They're both awesome people. They're both your parents. Your job is to love them. It's not your job to figure out who's right, but do focus on what's right. And this gets back to principle, okay? Because if you get pulled off of principle and doing the right thing for you, then you're out of integrity. Don't get into a place where you're arguing or bickering or choosing hate. That's going to hurt you, and it's not going to help the other people that you're associated with. So focus on what's right, not who's right. Here's your third do. Take good care of yourself. Now, this might go without saying, but sometimes when there's a disruption in a family, it's a little harder sometimes to meet some of your own needs. Now, if you're an adult, that's a little easier. If you're a teenager, it's a little more challenging. If you're a child, you don't have a lot of control. But do what you can to take care of you. So make sure that you're eating right and that you're exercising regularly and that you're getting some good sleep, that you're taking regular times to pray or meditate or focus or get your mind cleared of all of the noise that's happening. This will help you to stay psychologically healthy and will put you in the best position for you to do the other things that we're talking about here on this video. Do take good care of yourself. And here's the fourth one. It's going to surprise you. Stay positive. Stay positive. This also helps you to be the best support for your parents, for your siblings, for everyone who knows and loves your family. You stay positive, and it's hard when difficult things happen. I know. Review some of the videos on the channel that'll help you to do that and to see practical ways that you can practice that. Stay positive. That puts you in the very best position to help those that you love. You know what? We all have experiences, and a lot of those are actually in common. So it's a good thing for us to share information as we find it. Will you please share this episode with someone that you love?
I saw her standing in